right, we are good to go. Thank you, guys.
All right, this one on me, right? It's my first time, like I think in this seat for the personnel committee. But I guess we will call this meeting to order on July 24th at 6:34 p.m. The first order of business would be approval of the April 24th, 2024 personnel committee minutes. We've all had a chance to review those and have no other further discussion. I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Moved.
Second. I can only see Nicole and Joe. So like if somebody said second at City Hall, I can't see you or I didn't hear you.
Nope, so all three members are on Zoom, so you're good.
Oh, gotcha. Nicole or Joe, is there a second?
I don't think
Nicole
I can
made
make
the motion.
Yeah.
So Joe, you got a second. Or type it in the chat. I think that's will suffice.
Can you remind me, do we have to have a second when there's only three of us?
Yeah, I think we just have to have a second, but then we don't need to take a vote because it's only three people. So the second served us. Yeah. So since we had the motion made by Nicole and second by Joe, that those approval of those minutes passed. So we can move to public appearance for non-agenda items. Are there any in the building?
Nope, no public appearances.
All righty. So then we will move on to agenda item A, which is a update to two classifications, titles, and those are the titles only. Updating the classification of secretary receptionist to municipal clerk assistant, and updating the classification of human resource generalist to human resource business partner on the non-represented pay plan, title change only with no resulting pay grade change.
You got it. So the first one is in the clerk's department. This is a receptionist / secretary. So that classification title we've had for many, many years, and it's really outdated. We really don't have anyone that performs just secretarial or receptionist responsibilities. So Tracy Oldenburg, the city clerk, went through the job description and she updated it to a municipal clerk assistant. She did update some of the responsibilities as they're doing more administrative, but I don't have that on this specific job description. But yeah, this position has really morphed into more of a administrative role and less just answering phones and helping at the front desk. So we really just want to delete this outdated classification and call it what it truly is, which is the municipal clerk assistant. And then
sounds good.
And then the second classification title change is for the HR generalist, human resources generalist, which Amy Tracy is our generalist, and she helps out all different departments with basically any of their HR needs. And if you look at a number of organizations, and including municipalities, City of Sun Prairie, City of Madison, the title of generalist is morphing into more of an HR business partner. It really emphasizes that we're partners with our agencies and our departments, and that we are there to support them. So it's definitely just updating the title to be more of kind of what is in the industry and to better reflect the responsibilities of the position in a support role. So those are the only two classification titles. So it would update the titles on the non-rep pay plan and update their job descriptions. But again, there's no resulting pay change with this, so there's no budget impact.
Sounds good to me. It makes sense. If there are no further discussion for others, I entertain a motion to update those two classification titles.
Move to update the classification titles.
Second.
Since we have the motion on the floor and it has been seconded, I believe it passes. And we can go to agenda item B, which is the update to the employee handbook policies on PTO and overtime. And is that, Sarah, am I turning that one over to you as well?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so in the packet was the employee handbook. It was the tracked versions one. So if you look at page 53 of the employee handbook, you're going to see some track changes of basically we're adding PTO hours for a non-represented fire employee. Earlier this year, the Personnel Committee approved a battalion chief classification, and a battalion chief works a 24-hour shift, which is 2496 hours in a year. Currently, the PTO schedule that we have set up is only for those working 2080 hours and then 1950. So we needed to add in what their PTO hours would be for working the 2496. So you're going to see a column there, and how we figured out these hours is approximately 11% of a employee that works 2080 hours is spent in PTO. So we took the same percentage and gave that to the fire and made sure it was divisible by 24 hours. So the one I have shared on my screen is slightly different than the one I had included in the packet. And that's because at the time we didn't realize that it wasn't, I didn't realize it wasn't divisible by 24, and we kind of readjusted and we added 10 hours. So we added 10 hours for all of these amounts so that it was clear how many 24-hour days a fire employee would be able to take off for PTO. So the updated schedule is there in front of you. So we really just want to, before they can move into the battalion chief role, we have to make sure we have their PTO set up in our payroll system. So this is one of the things that you approve anytime we make any updates to the handbook. And I got Chief Gross in here too if you have any questions about PTO, specifically as it relates to the fire department too. So any questions, he's here for you.
No questions for me. I was just going to ask, like, because the original number wasn't divisible by 24, so I was just going to say, like, how did all of that math work out, and were there like part-time days or something like that? But you already answered that question, so I'll turn the floor over to Joe and Nicole if you all have any other questions or would like to make a motion to approve this policy.
I don't have any questions. I just want to share my appreciation and support for this because as y'all might not know this, but there had been historically a lot of stress in the fire department because of staffing and the burden on overtime. So, fully supportive of this position.
Perfect, thank you. Before you approve that, there's still a couple of other changes we made. One of them is on overtime. So if you look at page 60, we wanted to make sure that we identified when a non-rep battalion chief is eligible for overtime. And so it would be for working any shifts outside of their regular work schedule. So this is similar to how our represented fire union employees receive overtime. So we really mirrored that. And looks like Chad's joining us.
What? Sorry, could you repeat the page number?
Is it? Work. Same thing, right? Yeah. So actually, that should say 48-hour work week shifts.
Just work week.
Just work week?
Work week, yes.
Okay. Yep. So sorry about that. So actually, just to clarify, the non-represented fire employees working 48-hour weeks are eligible for overtime pay for all hours worked outside of their regular scheduled shift. So this would include, if they were to pick up a shift outside of their regular, then they would be eligible for overtime. Because that was the big question from our payroll is, well, when are these battalion chiefs eligible for overtime? Is it past 48 hours in a week? Is it 96 hours in a pay period? But really, we looked at the fire union contract and made sure that basically we're mirroring that overtime and when they're eligible for it.
So just so I understand, so if an employee works like a straight 48-hour shift, they're eligible for overtime, or if they work 48 hours in 1 week, then it goes into overtime?
Can you talk about the shifts and how they're scheduled?
Yep, so they're on their 48-hour schedule. So that makes, if they work their regular shifts, that's 48 hours a week. In the pay period, it's 96 hours. So like Sarah said, that per the union contract, anytime they work outside of their normal schedule, they are receiving overtime. So if they go to a training and it's approved, they'll get overtime. So if if like, say they have a PTO, they get paid for that. So essentially what we're doing is we're just mirroring essentially what the represented 24-hour shift working members of the department are getting along with the battalion chiefs, because they're essentially working the same shift and the same rotation. So anytime they work beyond their regularly scheduled shifts, they receive overtime. I hope that,
Gotcha. Thanks, Chief.
yeah.
And then the last,
Before we,
oh yeah,
go ahead. Sorry, Sarah.
no, you go ahead.
No, I was going to turn it over to you, and I was going to turn it over to you. I was saying if there
I
was
was
more.
just going to say the only other change in the employee handbook is going down to the clothing allowance on page 83. We just needed to add that new classification of battalion chief, because they are eligible for right now, 3 new uniform shirts, the collar emblems, and other uniform ornaments for being a battalion chief. So we wanted to make sure we added that classification into that section. But that's it for changes for the employee handbook. So real minor changes for the most part.
I guess take it back to Joe and Nicole. If y'all would entertain a motion to approve the amendments or the updates to the employee handbook policies on PTO and overtime, and then also the addition of the battalion chief who's eligibility for a clothing allowance.
Move to approve.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. So under this jurisdiction, it passes. And we are to go on to agenda item 5, which is announcements.
Which is, bear with me, I don't have the agenda in front of me. What is the section?
It was announcements. He just got out.
Announcements.
Oh, perfect. Sorry about that.
Sorry, you can't hear me? My bad.
That's all right. I have an announcement. So I'm sharing my screen. HR has been busy working on a youth government week. We are really excited to roll this out. Registration, we were hoping would open today, but we have a slight little thing we're working with on the registration form. So it should be up, starting to accept registrations tomorrow by the end of the day. What this is the last week of August. Any youth, middle school and high school age, are welcome to attend a free, basically in the different city departments. There'll be some hands-on activities. It'll be very engaging, and it's really the whole point is to help the youth understand what types of careers are in local government. So that maybe in the future they think about us when they graduate. So you can see every day we have a different department focus. The first department on Monday will be communications, FACTv, library. The second day, HR, elected officials, mayor. We have a big public safety day on Wednesday, August 28th. And then we've got planning and zoning, public works, and then ending the week with senior center. So there is free lunch provided, and we're working with the Dane County School Consortium to provide transportation as needed. So if there are any transportation barriers, we can provide that. We have this flyer in Spanish. Our intern Sarahi was able to put that into Spanish too. So we'll have a registration link that will have more information we can get from the parents who are signing up their kids. But people can come for one day, they can come for the whole week, and it is an all-day event, 7:45 to 3. So we are so excited. This is the first time that we're doing something like this. So if you have middle school, high school age kids, if you know of any, we're going to be doing a lot of outreach to get the word out about this. And we'll close registration after the community night out, which is another event that will be highly pushing these flyers out. So we'll have multiple ways that we're getting the word out about this. So super excited.
Definitely super excited for day 2. I think me, Joe, and Julia go that day, right, Sarah?
That's right. Yeah.
So pub and day 2, let's go.
Yep.
Is there any help that you need in terms of like folks in the community to volunteer or do anything like that?
Not that we're aware of at this point. So we want to make sure that we have enough adults to the kids ratio. So we can have up to 40 youth sign up each day, and we'll be able to make sure that we're not having too many kids to the number of adults. But if there are any things that we find that we're going to need, we're going to be kind of really plowing through final details of anything that pops up in the next couple of weeks. We'll definitely let folks know. But yeah, we're so far so good. We seem to be pretty headed in the right direction.
Sarah, I've been waiting for something like this to happen in Fitchburg for a long time, and
Good.
I thought I would have to be the one to like initiate it. So I really appreciate that this is happening. Has this ever happened in the city before?
No.
Or anything like related to this?
Well, I should say, I know our public safety departments do something similar on, so I'm going to turn to Chad.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the last couple of years, we've actually partnered with the Madison Police Department, Fitchburg Police Department, Fitchburg EMS, and then the fire department here. We do a Latino Youth Academy, and we've done that over the last couple of years. So that's been extremely successful, and that's what we're kind of basing what we're doing for us. And then I'm meeting with Chief Anderson here next week, or I'm sorry, in 2 weeks, to finalize what we're going to do on the public safety day. So we get kind of the front half of that day, and then the police department gets the second half of the day. So we have some experience with it, and we're really excited that it's a Fitchburg, component now, and that we're able to open it up to all departments. So yeah, we do have some experience with it, and we're happy that it's right here in Fitchburg.
Thank you.
Huge appreciation and gratitude for you all for putting this together. It's I know from doing events like this that is a huge task, especially 5 days, 5 full days. Like that's just amazing. I just want to thank you, and yeah, I'll obviously be there one day, and I try to pop in other days if I can, and yeah.
That would be great.
The kids are excited about it, but you can definitely tell they're ready to go home at the end of each day, because we give them a lot of information during the day, and then especially when they come over to the firehouse, we actually have them doing tasks, so they're not just sitting there listening. They're being involved, and we're having them do things, so it's hands on.
Well, and a big thank you to council for approving it, for the HR intern to even come on board. This is the first time we've had an HR intern in a long amount of years. I don't even know when we had an HR intern last. So thank you. Sarahi Garcia and Sarah Massa Myers have really ran with this, and they're doing an amazing job. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what Joe said. Definitely excited and looking forward to it. And I'm assuming we're going to get these like flyers in English and Spanish, probably like digitally. But I was wondering if we could possibly pick up some hard copies in both languages to disseminate to our various communities.
Absolutely, definitely. We already have it in Spanish, but we just need to add a QR code and then a link. So we have to update the sign up below to be notified, because we'll have a direct link to it. And then for printed flyers, we'll have a QR code. Someone can just take a photo of it. Absolutely, I'll get you some of those.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And that's all I've got for announcements, unless Chad has anything. Okay. Yep, that's all we've got.
All righty. Well, then we'll move to item 6, which is adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All righty. Our personnel committee is adjourning at 6:52 p.m.